Tiger Height here, and I want to take some time to thank Anchor for sponsoring this show. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. You can do everything from your phone or from your computer all in one place with Anchor. Creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast without any additional software whatsoever. They'll distribute the podcast for you, so it can be heard everywhere from Spotify to Google Podcasts to Apple Podcasts and many more. And you can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. And it's absolutely free. This entire thing is absolutely free. So download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That again is the Anchor app or anchor.fm to get started. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, my majestic universe. This is the Pro Wrestling Zone podcast, a majestic production, where you will hear the news and reviews of everything professional wrestling with a twist. You have never heard another pro wrestling podcast like this, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And without further ado, let me introduce to you your hosts of the Pro Wrestling Zone, Tiger Height and Peanut Gallery. Welcome to the Pro Wrestling Zone. I am Tiger Height. This is Peanut Gallery.
What up?
So we've literally had the worst day for audio issues, and it was my fault. I probably should have turned this on like an hour before, but I thought my shit was gonna work. Note to self.
Knowing you.
No, note to self. Because I'm the one doing this, we need at least an hour to kind of buff out anything wrong. So if we sound like garbage, that's why.
Yeah, because I'm pretty pissed. Anyways, let's go on to the Clash of Champions.
Okay.
Very clashy.
Yes, it's very clashy. Let's do Clash of Champions.
I had a clash in my heart. I had a clash in my brain.
It was not the worst thing in the world, but at the same time, it was just kind of there. There was nothing really standout or special about it, to be honest.
Nope.
Well, there was one part, but we'll get to it. So, Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman versus Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode for the Raw Tag Team Champions. This match was not terrible.
This match happened.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't fantastic. It was just kind of... It was just kind of there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like...
Obviously, they protected Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman.
It was a glorious DDT on Seth Rollins for Robert Roode to pick up the win, and Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode to win the Tag Team Champions. I don't hate this.
Yep.
I don't hate it.
Nope.
I think they'll make a good team. Might not be beer money, but there's something there. I know.
See, the thing is...
Let me be optimistic.
The thing is that I think they had a name for their team, but it was total garbage.
What was it? I didn't hear it.
I heard, like, Dolph Roode or something like that. I have no idea.
If it is that, then that's AIDS. Bayley and Charlotte Flair.
Might as well.
Bayley versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Champion. This match was confusing.
The
ending was a confusing part. So Bayley... As being a heel, I don't hate it, but it was just confusing.
She's a very sloppy heel.
She's not a sloppy heel. It's
she
just
is.
Weird because she's doing the hugging and high-fiving and blah, blah, blah. She's a heel. She shouldn't be doing that. She should be like fucking Tommaso Ciampa.
Right?
Like, that'd be fantastic, right? But, I mean, she's doing heel shit, and Charlotte did lose clean to Bayley. Bayley is still the SmackDown Women's Champion. Like I said, I'm not hating on it. I think it was the right decision.
No.
Why? Give me one fucking good reason why this was not the right decision. Do you really want Charlotte to be a 10-time women's champion?
Okay, so here's the thing, is that normally when they're in a hometown of certain people, they let those people win their respective matches. Going back to Cedric Alexander versus AJ Styles.
That was a pre-show match.
But again, Cedric Alexander was from Charlotte. Is from Charlotte. He currently is still alive.
No, he died.
AJ Styles not only beat the fuck out of him, but they also had his cronies beat the fuck out of him.
He lost. So, 2-2.
Charlotte
They've always done the hometown heroes losing their hometown. That's always happened. I don't know what you're getting at here.
Oh, okay. So you want to tell Buddy Murphy that?
That's in Australia. That was a totally different situation.
You want to tell him Randy Orton has won pretty much every single match.
When was the last time they were in St. Louis and he won a match?
I don't know.
Okay, so shut up. So anyway, Bayley
Usually they let the hometown heroes win, is my point.
Well, that's a fucking lie.
Well, if you're a real wrestling booker, then you
okay. Well, if you're a real wrestling booker, but this is WWE.
That's true.
The Revival versus the New Day for the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. I did not hate this match. It was weird.
This was a good match.
It was weird.
It was.
But I liked this match a lot. All of these guys put in really good work. The crowd was really into this match. I did not hate this. Xavier Woods tapped out with a knee injury, which I knew was going to come into play for the Revival to be the first team, as a team, assholes, so you guys, oh, it's American Alpha. Nope. To win.
American Alpha doesn't count.
No, because they weren't a team when they won the Raw
Tag Team belts.
To win the NXT, SmackDown, and Raw Tag Team Champions as a team.
Yep.
That's the only team that's ever done that. So people say, oh, it's a man. Jason Jordan won it with Seth Rollins, and Chad Gable won it with Bobby Roode. They did not win it together.
Doesn't count.
Right.
Fuck you and your fanboy love affair with American Alpha.
Would you consider the New Day to be a part of that or no? Because technically, Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Champions have different timelines than the WWE Tag Team Champions.
But what about the NXT? They never won the tag team.
Oh, you're right. Okay, never mind. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Let's just move on from there. Go to the sixth match with
Fire and Desire versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross for the Women's Tag Team Champions. This was a really freaking good match.
It was. It actually surprisingly was.
It was a good match. Everyone did really good work. There was a good, very fresh little comedy spot to get people kind of like. It was almost like a palate cleanser kind of a thing with the 24/7 champion. And technically, the 24/7...
We'll talk about how the crowd kind of died.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's not... After this match, the crowd was into it all the way through.
Oh, yeah.
But Alexa Bliss went for, technically, the 24/7 champion. There was a pin, so the 24/7 champion technically was on the line in a sanctioned match at Clash of Champions.
Boom.
Where I was like... I told Peanut Gallery, I'm like, not every title's on the line. Yes, it is. The 24/7 champion doesn't count. It's a championship. It does count.
It's
comedy fodder, but is the hardcore champion a champion?
Well, look, here's the thing: is that the 24/7 champion is never meant to be decided in a sanctioned match where there's a rivalry that's built up. That is the antithesis of the 24/7 champion.
You can pull it off, but the 24/7 champion was on the line.
It's always on the line, but it was on the line at Clash of Champions.
The 24/7 champion couldn't have... If it wasn't, they wouldn't have even showed up.
Yeah.
But they did.
Yep.
Which is good.
Yep.
And it was in a match. There was a pinfall. It wasn't successful, but there was a pinfall.
Yeah.
But Alexa Bliss did win. Nikki Cross got the pin, which I think Peanut Gallery even said that was the right call.
That was the right call. Nikki Cross needed... Kind of like how Robert Roode, he was the one that got the pin, which was the right call.
Oh, absolutely.
So the calls with the pins in these matches were correct.
Absolutely.
I
honestly, this was a hell of a match. It was really good. It was so much fun. The crowd was into it. Everyone put in really good work. There was really good tag team offense too.
Oh yeah.
Everything about this match, I cannot say was bad.
Yeah, it was pretty even. It was a very even match.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The Miz versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the Intercontinental Champion.
I forgot that match happened.
It was not a bad match, but there was some stuff that bothered me. One, I don't know why this still bothers
We
me.
were arguing more about whether Shinsuke Nakamura was wearing a one-piece or a two-piece suit
because he had a belt. He had a belt. Why have a belt with something that's supposed to be spandex to your body except for like the bottom part of it?
Because
that doesn't make sense.
Because that now doesn't exist.
God, you're annoying. I love you, but fuck.
Either it needs to be a one-piece pajama, like a footy, or
it wasn't a footy. It was a onesie.
Or it's spandex. No, it's onesies where it ends at the crotch.
No, it can go down to the legs, but it just cannot connect to the feet. It didn't connect to the feet. It floofed.
But it was kind of a mix, so it was a two-piece suit.
Later after this show, I'm going to fucking prove it to you because
oh my God.
I am that person. Leave me alone.
Fuck
you, poor dog. Anyway, Shinsuke Nakamura won with a Kinshasa. Thank God that The Miz is not going to be the person who wins the most. No, would he be tied or win the most?
He would have been tied
with Chris Jericho.
Yes.
Okay. It was a good match though.
However, knowing how much the WWE spites Chris Jericho, I wouldn't be shocked if it happened.
Right? Oh, you mean the current AEW World Champion?
Yeah, there's a problem.
But the thing is, Chris Jericho didn't lose the belt. Anyway, Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Champion. There were some confusing parts, but overall, I like this match.
Well, of course you like this match because you won. You fuck.
So it was a no contest, and technically, I am the Majestic Champion of the world, bitch. And as champion,
this match should not have happened. It should not have been contested in the way it was contested.
So the referee was hit in the arm with a chair,
and of course,
light as a feather, which means he was shot in the arm with a large gun.
Right.
So he died.
Yeah.
And then so they fought everywhere, and then all of a sudden, the commentators, with all the chaos going on, nobody pays a fucking attention because Corey Graves was insufferable.
Oh my God, Corey! I'll talk about that later. Corey Graves, you fuck bitch.
God, he was insufferable. He was insufferable. He was like Jerry the King Lawler turned to infinity, and even then,
No. That makes Jerry the King Lawler look like a puppy.
See, the thing is, Jerry the King Lawler, he did those like little niches with heels, but he did it in a sentence where Corey Graves goes on like a tirade.
He goes on a paragraph.
He goes on a tirade. It's like, dude, let's take a chill.
Nobody gives a fuck about your opinion.
I don't mind an antagonistic heel, but damn,
pull
it back for a minute.
Yeah, seriously, fuck.
But anyway, it was a no contest, so no, it was Becky Lynch lost by disqualification, so she kept the belt.
Yeah, and really, do you really want that? I don't want that on a pay-per-view. I want a clean finish.
It should have been a clean finish.
Yep,
it should have been Sasha Banks because they're setting up a tag team match.
It was a clean finish. It should have been. Well, that's true because now it makes it really awkward. I really think that it should have been Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, or should have been Bayley and Sasha Banks.
Right.
But now it's kind of...
Now, this match was weird. Not for its execution or anything, because overall it was a fine match, but man, this crowd was dead. Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton for the WWE Champion. Peanut Gallery...
Kofi Mania is dead.
Peanut Gallery has the expectation that Kofi Mania is dead. I am going to withhold my opinion of such until I see them in different states, in different towns. And if it's consistent...
True.
Then yes, it is dead. But it's like Shawn Michaels is one of the most popular wrestlers of all time, but yet still in Montreal, he is the most hated thing since Satan.
So what you're saying is everyone in Charlotte is racist. Yes.
No, well, yes, but
it's North Carolina. They're all racist.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're dark. Well, I'm pretty sure they're sick and tired of dark things because of Dorian.
Right. Oh, they're also sick of dark things because Republican legislature.
Do they have Republican legislature? Weren't they one of the swings?
Yeah,
Am I
well,
wrong?
the Republicans kind of cheat their way up to the top. But
excellent.
Anyway, so what's happening is there's some white nationalism going on against Randy Orton.
But the match overall was fine.
Yeah, the match was great.
It wasn't offensive. I liked the SummerSlam match a little bit better, but I like this finish a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
Kingston hit Trouble in Paradise. He's hitting that shit out of nowhere. It's Trouble in Paradise out of nowhere. He pinned Randy Orton clean. No BS, no ref bump, no problems. It was a clean victory. Kingston is going to be a clean champion going into Fox, which I think is what they wanted because brownie points. It's all that brownie points.
I know. Hey, Brown. Again, it's one of those weird situations where it's like you have to either have the Revival and Randy Orton, you have to have the New Day. It's really weird.
It's weird that they have them separated, but at the same time, I'm glad that they're keeping them separated.
Well, it's not as weird as the Bayley, Sasha, Charlotte, Becky
that's
thing.
weird.
That's
really weird.
That's a strange mix. But
yep, absolutely.
You know when the WWE makes sense these days.
Right. So, next match, Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan. The match itself was not terrible. They actually gelled fairly well. And the no disqualification stipulation was good for the rivalry. They really built this up. And Luke Harper, to my surprise, came back. Now, that got probably the biggest pop of the night.
Oh, yeah.
But I was not expecting that. that was kind of my claim for our next part of the segment, but I'm going to go with that when we get to it.
Okay.
I still think it holds true, but I do believe that Eric Rowan won with the Iron Claw, chokeslam, whatever he's doing.
Now, Eric Rowan with Luke Harper defeating Roman Reigns was the right call.
Right.
If Luke Harper did not come back, Roman Reigns would have been the right call. However, Roman Reigns has the charisma of a piece of cheese.
And they're really pushing Eric Rowan, and he's getting good reaction.
Yeah, if people like that,
there's something clicking where these two could be like this crazy ass militia where they wear jeans and shit and just beat the shit, not Bludgeon Brothers, which even then I did not hate entirely because it was a team that got their just desserts.
Right.
They could be a major powerhouse main event-ish team where maybe he and Roman Reigns face Luke Harper and Eric Rowan face Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. That could be a match for the next pay-per-view.
That could be.
Theoretically. And that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
It'd be an interesting component to this dynamic.
Right.
And I would be fine with it overall. So, yes, I think the right person won, definitely.
Yep.
And I'm happy with it, even though we both chose Roman Reigns.
Yeah, well, speaking of the wrong people winning this match,
Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins for the Universal Champion.
Seth Rollins has no charisma. Why do you keep pushing him when no one likes him? Everyone loves Braun Strowman.
People like
Why
Braun Strowman.
Are you not giving him the title? Why?
I don't understand that either, because he was the hottest thing in wrestling, and they should have given him the Universal belt at the first Crown Jewel when he was white fucking hot, and if he beat Brock Lesnar, he would have been even hotter. But they dropped the ball, kicked it into a puddle, and then shit on it.
And then they gave, here's
here's Brock Lesnar with the belt so Seth Rollins could beat him. No, if you wanted to do that, turn Braun Strowman heel, have him be a major heel, then Seth Rollins beats him, then I've been fine.
Because no one cares about Seth Rollins. People care about Braun Strowman.
Seth Rollins was booed.
Yeah, no, and Seth Rollins is so bad that they had to have him team up with his girlfriend, because his girlfriend was the one that carried the whole team.
Right. I know, it's insane.
It's just insanity. Why? Why, Seth? Why do you have to suck so bad? And then you have to toe the company line because you think they're treating you well? Why don't you go to AEW where you actually might get some good treatment? You fuck.
Right. So yes, Seth Rollins won. Seth Rollins won with a pedigree and then a fourth curb stomp for him to retain. And unfortunately, I don't know why they fucking didn't do this, because this bothered me. Where was the Fiend?
Yeah, where was the Fiend?
This would have been a perfect thing saying, okay, you won, the Fiend's going to attack you starting right now. That would have been a great way to close out, because I think everybody wanted to see that. Now,
everybody wanted to see
I don't mind seeing Seth Rollins versus the Fiend, because honestly,
but
the Fiend at this point cannot lose. One, he should not be going for the Universal Champion right now. He should be facing against other people, building it up for a big event. Instead, they're doing it at Hell in a Cell.
And I really hope that if the Fiend loses
It's
at Hell in a
dead.
Cell,
It's dead.
That's
It's
it.
dead.
It's over.
The Fiend has to win. Like Finn Balor. Finn Balor's demon has been undefeated since they brought it in.
Yep.
And now, really looking back at it, I'm glad that the demon did not lose. But Bray Wyatt, as the Fiend, at this point, he is the most talked about thing in wrestling, except for an entire fucking company.
Right.
There is no way they can have him lose this. And that is what the problem is. Where will the Fiend go from here? That's right, he's going to lose.
And if they lose,
if the Fiend loses early, have him keep the belt as long as Brock Lesnar. Have the threat of Brock Lesnar beat the Fiend. Then it's credible.
Right.
You need a person credible to beat
And
the
I'm
Fiend.
sorry, Seth Rollins
And it has to be a couple of months down the road where the Fiend wins more, gets white hot, and then like Braun Strowman. No, Seth Rollins cannot beat the Fiend. If he does, the Fiend is dead. Dead. Right there.
Because Seth Rollins kills everything he touches.
He has barely beaten everybody. He's beaten them, but he's barely done it.
Seth Rollins is a nobody. He's an ass. Fuck him.
He's an ass.
He needs to be on the mid. He needs to be on the mid card where he belongs. With all of his Twitter rants.
He's better chasing the belt, not holding the belt. So, yes. So that is Clash of Champions. Overall, I enjoyed the show.
No, I did not. Not until, well, I enjoyed it until about the very end. But,
the best match, in my opinion, and I'm going to say this, and you might hate me, but I'm definitely going to say this. This is only pre-show. The Women's Tag Team Champion match was the match of the night.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Easily the match of the night.
Easily.
And which is weird, and I never thought I would say that, but god damn, they have really good chemistry. Shit.
That was good. That was a good match. Shinsuke Nakamura versus The Miz, I think, was a pretty close second.
It was a really close second.
Sami Zayn is really annoying.
I love it. It was perfect.
Like, I love how he uses the sports teams as heat, which we'll talk about in our next segment.
Right. But I think Sami Zayn as the mouthpiece for Shinsuke Nakamura is exactly what Shinsuke Nakamura needs. Shinsuke Nakamura has everything, but in WWE land, you need a mouthpiece. If it wasn't going to be like Paul Heyman or something, I mean, Sami Zayn's a great talker. He's a great wrestler. But if Sami Zayn is actually injured, this could be perfect for him. He can stay relevant. He can stay relevant on TV, not work as much, maybe work a couple of matches, you know, kind of have that to where any kind of nagging injuries, he can at least not do physical work.
Right.
Which he didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm okay with this. So, yes.
I'm going to agree with you with that. Yeah, it got really hot at the very middle there, and then it just kind of died.
Right. So we're going to go into our next part. Our next part is going to be very unique. We're going to explain it after the break. So enjoy your break, and we'll be right back. And we are back. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, this is going to be a very different segment. Peanut Gallery and I are going to do our first ever pseudo debate. And the people, you, will choose who presented a better argument.
Exactly.
Where is your convincing on this?
Yeah.
The question, who is WWE's biggest competition? Peanut Gallery is...
I believe, well,
Go ahead.
Before I'm not going to steal his thunder or anything.
No, go ahead.
But I'm going to explain to you who I believe the biggest competition is in just one sentence. I believe that the biggest competition for the WWE is other entertainment entities outside of the professional wrestling realm.
Okay, and my argument is that the biggest competition, not all of it, but the biggest competition are direct pro wrestling companies, AEW, New Japan, Impact, Ring of Honor, etc. So, Peanut Gallery is going to start. This is how it's going to work. We have 6 exact minutes. I'm going to time it. This first part is presenting as much evidence to yours as possible. I have links to all of our evidence in the description if you want to give it a read further. But our goal is to convince you that our thing is better. His is that the biggest competition for WWE, because WWE is a standard bearer, and they will always be the standard bearer unless they do something stupid, is entertainment entities outside of professional wrestling companies, and mine is the contrary. So, Peanut Gallery, you will have 6 minutes starting... Oh, I cannot interrupt whatsoever, and vice versa. Your evidence starts now.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, the reason that I believe that the WWE does not believe... Well, WWE... the reason that I think that it is that the ratings go to the entertainment companies and not necessarily to professional wrestling is because the WWE themselves do not view other professional wrestling promotions as true competition. Of course, even within that, there are some conflicting statements, but if you look at the big thing that I look at when I'm looking at the WWE in comparison to other professional wrestling promotions are their demographics and then the ratings corresponding to those demographics. The average age of a WWE fan is in their late 40s. That being said, those were the same people who watched it from the Attitude Era on because they got hooked on the WWE system and they're bringing that forward. We see a lot of evidence stating that there's a huge market segment within the female demographic and within children. And we see that because the WWE is, of course, rated PG to appeal more towards family and the family-friendly aspect of the product. If the WWE perceived their greatest competition to be professional wrestling promotions, they would match the rating system of other professional wrestling promotions. Their reach, their scope is so broad in terms of demographics that there is a lot of evidence to believe that WWE is not only appealing towards families, but also tying in a lot of their content towards families as well. One of their biggest demographics outside of the 18 to 49 range, which is it's a really broad scope in of itself. I think 18-year-olds are watching a lot different things than 49-year-olds are watching, but that is how the rating system is done. That their biggest competitors in that range, according to television, are other sporting events such as the NFL, the NBA, other sporting events like that, or even other mixed martial arts promotions like the UFC per se. And if you look at the trends of not just on a year by year, but if you look at certain weeks of the year, for example, or you look at certain holidays or something like that, there are noticeable drops in viewership around, say, if there's like the NBA Finals, or if you look at the NFL playoffs, if they happen to happen on a Monday, which they hardly ever do, but in certain cities you can see certain drops based on other sporting events that take up the time that normally would have been devoted to something like a Monday Night Raw or something of that nature. The WWE also does not perceive other companies, other professional wrestling companies, as threats is because of the lack of their acknowledgement of the competition. They might acknowledge it within certain... How much time do I have left?
You have about 2 minutes right about now.
Perfect. So they don't mention it outside of the meetings of investors and stuff like that, but I still do think that there is a demographic of people who are interested in the wrestling product. But I think that the WWE as an organization has become so mainstream that they are beyond just worrying about the professional wrestling as a franchise. And again, looking at the ratings, especially compared to like Monday Night Football, for example, competing up against WWE Raws, or the fact that they will schedule certain pay-per-views outside of major playoff games, it really shows that the WWE is they are concerned about other professional wrestling promotions.
You have about a minute left.
But I don't think that between their demographics, who they appeal to, I don't think that they're as worried about it as a lot of wrestling fans may perceive it to be. And a good example of that, again, being the connection to reality television shows, or the multimedia aspects of their pay-per-views and stuff like that. There's just a lot of evidence, in my opinion, of course, to support the fact that professional wrestling companies are not the biggest competition to WWE pay-per-views, and that is based on the attitude of WWE towards other professional wrestling promotions, or the way that they perceive their place in the landscape.
All right, you are done? All right, you have about 10 seconds to spare. All right, so I wanted to show Peanut Gallery 6 minutes.
Perfect.
On the clock. Ready?
Yep.
So there was a lot about what Peanut Gallery has said that I do agree with. They do look at television ratings overall, and they make a lot of corporate decisions based as such. But the argument is not of what they perceive, is about what everybody else perceives. My argument, based on evidence of everything that's happened, that they did not acknowledge WCW until much later as a company directly with billionaire Ted. That's when they first acknowledged WCW. That was a couple of months into the product itself. This was before NWO. But even before NWO, they were still a major player as a part of competition for WWE. This is in the 90s. Now, in the 90s, they've done this trend of the purge, where they go to other professional wrestling companies and find talent that are popular with professional wrestling fans to get them. This is not the only time. Johnny Ace was a major player in New Japan Pro Wrestling in the very early 90s, and WWE got them. Big Van Vader, he was a major player in the same. They got him. I mean, Hulk Hogan, he was an AWA staple, and he went to WWF because I believe it was Vern Gagne told Hulk Hogan, this is Hulk Hogan, that he was not good enough to be a main eventer. Now, this is just in the early 90s. This is even before WCW's rise to power. I mean, look at the trade-offs. Look at how a professional wrestling company, two, in fact, with WCW, forced WWE to change their perception of what they put out because they had direct competition with professional wrestling. And I'm going to say this. They have not had that competition since then. But the purge still happens. Look at the Undisputed Era. All of them, Roderick Strong, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and Adam Cole, Bay, were from Ring of Honor. Punishment Martinez is from Ring of Honor. Elio de Fantasma is from CMLL. Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson. I mean, I can go on with a list of the purge. Maybe you could make this argument in 2005 when they really marketed towards just everybody. But in the world of professional wrestling, and I think WWE understands this, they just cannot hire any schlock from anywhere to be a professional wrestler and make it. And I say that because Kelly wasn't a professional wrestler until she went to WWE. Candice Michelle wasn't the same thing. The Miz wasn't. He had a little bit of experience in Deep South before, but it wasn't enough. But they did that because he had name recognition somewhere. The thing is, nowadays, WWE is looking at professional wrestling organizations now more than ever, and they try to counter-program. They try to manipulate, they try to take a stranglehold on any competition that they see. As an example of this, their direct partnerships with Rev Pro, with Progress, they have these, so it's like a farming system where they can go to NXT UK, NXT, to really get exposed to a wider audience. Walter is still a Progress champion. He's actually a dual champion, and he's still that champion. A lot of these guys, especially from NXT, I'm not sure how it's going to change in the coming weeks, but they can work independent shows. Adam Cole goes down to Progress all the time. Cassius Ohno does independent shows all the time. They have expressed interest in megastars in professional wrestling only, such as Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kazuchika Okada. I mean, Chris Jericho stated that it's a war directly. And WWE, with that Progress 100th or 10th anniversary bullshit, which it wasn't, because the anniversary of Progress is in December, they did that to counter-program AEW was it Fyter Fest? Yeah, it was Fyter Fest. No, it was Fight for the Fallen. It was Fight for the Fallen. They made that show, and they promoted that show, and they did this big song and dance on the WWE Network, not because just reasons, because they counter-programmed a professional wrestling show. They get professional wrestlers, they counter-program against professional wrestling, and it's taking nothing away from you saying they look at Monday Night Football's ratings as well, but let's just be honest. People are going to look away from that because it's not every day. They're going to look at AEW more and more now, and you need to see that professional wrestling companies are the main competition for professional wrestling companies, and WWE, hate to tell you, and hate to tell everybody else, they're a professional wrestling company. All right, do you want to do a 6-minute closing or 3?
Let's do a 6-minute closing.
All right, ready? All right, this is Peanut Gallery's closing statements to convince...
And maybe a little bit of rebuttal, too. But we'll do a rebuttal / closing.
All right. All right, your time started.
Great. So, in understanding what Tiger Height has said, yes, there is still a market out there for professional wrestling promotions. However, he has talked exclusively about NXT, which does cater to the more active professional wrestler. And I think that I speak for a lot of professional wrestling fans who state that. But there are two other mega brands that, one of them has signed a $4 billion contract with Fox to go on Friday nights, and the other one staying on NBC Universal through USA Network, that state that the WWE is not only concerned about professional wrestling promotions. Sure, professional wrestling promotions are a more prevalent problem than they ever had been. The last major promotion to have a national television slot where the majority of households had that channel was Spike TV's partnership with TNA. And that's when they went through the Monday Night Wars. But the WWE was not at all concerned about that at the time. They let Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff run that place into the ground like they always do. So, in looking at the future and looking at AEW and looking at the prevalence of online marketing and looking at the and all that stuff for these professional wrestling promotions, either make a name or to come into the promotion, yes, there is more competition now in and out of professional wrestling than there ever has been. But I think the WWE has a plan. They have always had a plan in place to program or counterbalance these things. Yes, the WWE has done a lot of questionable things with regards to counter-programming certain things, but it's not the first time, nor will it be the last time that they ever do something like that. That's just what business is. There are people who counter-program the Super Bowl all the time because their channel doesn't get it that year. So, in conclusion, I do believe that the WWE sees...
So about 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Perfect. I do see the WWE seeing professional wrestling promotions as a piece of their competition. I don't see them as their entire competition. I think that based on the demographics, based on the product that is put out there, I think that the WWE is dealing with a multitude of problems that they need to counterbalance. For example, they are trying to counterbalance the demographic of 18 to 49-year-old women by creating reality television shows and by integrating those reality television shows onto their network, which, as a famous example, is John Cena proposing to Nikki Bella at WrestleMania, which was a direct continuation of the reality television. You have these partnerships with toy companies. You have these partnerships with children's games and all that kind of stuff to cater to the children, who are a major demographic of the WWE product. So, when it boils down to it, the WWE...
2 minutes.
The WWE does not view professional wrestling companies as competition because they know that from experience they will move past this competition. That they will do what they can, no matter what the stipulations are, to make sure that they keep their core demographic of professional wrestling fans. And professional wrestling fans are still talking about WWE all the time. And WWE gets that. What WWE is really trying to do is to make sure that they still engage with the fans who are not professional wrestling fans. They are still trying to engage with the children, with the parents, the mothers, women who are not traditional professional wrestling fans. And the WWE knows that they have a very limited time in which they need to capture their attention so that they become fans, no matter what their gender or what their situation is, for life.
Really?
And I'm done.
You still have like 40 seconds. All right.
I'm done. I have nothing else to say.
All right. Yeah, you don't have to use your full 6 minutes. All right, my turn. All right, so a lot of what Peanut Gallery said, I think is... I understand the thing with NXT, but I know that WWE were going to be moving to Fox regardless with SmackDown. They signed that deal even way before AEW was a thing, and that is... I can show evidence, which I'll put in the description, of them signing that deal months ahead of time. They did not do that, and they are not going to we're not going to put these two shows on NXT for this reason. What they're doing is they understand that NXT, and you're right, NXT probably caters to what AEW is for the most part. And I'm not saying that, but NXT is not just NXT. They're not an independent promotion. They are a part of WWE. And with this, they're going to try to put this on par, which they were going to do for a very long time. This was in the works. This was planned. Triple H has stated that they were going to do something with NXT to make it on par with Raw and SmackDown because it's just that big. It is. My thing is, WWE, if they did not foresee anything as a threat, they wouldn't go out of their way to counter-program with anything. On any bulletin, on any portion, they would not hyper-aggressively go after these little independent promotions and try to sign a deal with them. They would not do that. They would not go up to the Young Bucks for big deals. They would not go up to Kenny Omega for big deals. They would not hold people's contracts, such as Luke Harper, Sasha Banks, who wanted to leave. Luke Harper put out an Instagram post stating that he requested his release before he returned. That's why this return was weird. They are scared. They have not had this kind of competition since WCW. And nowadays, it's a lot easier for these smaller promotions to carve out a niche and really make their company something big. You and I both agreed earlier today, and I think everybody can probably say the same thing. Impact Wrestling has carved out a niche that we have never seen before. This is not the Impact Wrestling from 5 years ago. This is not the Impact Wrestling that hired fucking Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff to go against WWE. They're doing their own thing, and they understand that going up against WWE with their size is stupid because they don't have the backing that AEW does. But now they have a niche where people could actually look at Impact as maybe something to watch as an alternative. And the problem is when you have a casual fan watching professional wrestling and they like it, they're not going to stick with WWE. They're not just going to eat fucking steak. They're going to have a hamburger. They're going to have french fries. They're going to have a fucking milkshake. You know what those companies are? That's Impact. That's Ring of Honor. That's AEW. These are the bigger companies for North America. So I'm not saying that New Japan and All Japan are disqualified for being competition. In fact, I think it's just another avenue. The advent of the internet has given wrestling a shot in the arm that we have never seen before. Wrestling, in my opinion, has never been hotter. I have people come up to me all the time knowing that I'm a professional wrestling fan, talking about how they watched this clip or they were wondering about the yes chants. That is when pro wrestling goes into mainstream. That was not meant to happen. Daniel Bryan wasn't meant to be a big star, but that's a conversation for another day. My point is, AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, these companies are the battlegrounds to WWE. WWE, at its core, is a professional wrestling company. A football company does not go up against a bakery. They go up against another football company because that's the standard bearer. The NFL is the standard bearer for football. The NBA is standard bearer for basketball. WWE is standard bearer. The only people who can compete with them overall are other professional wrestling companies because that is what they are to its core. It's been that way since the 50s, and that's how it will always be. And I have finished my closing statement. And we are done. We are going to pass off this to you, the listener. Who do you think presented the proper argument for their position on who is WWE's biggest competition?
What up?
We would like to thank you for watching, and if you did, feel free to share with all of your friends. We are on Spotify. We're working on...
Leave a comment.
Yeah.
I would love to see your guys' comments for this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Tweet at us, Instagram, all of it. We want to see it. We want to see your perception, and we will even do that. And who knows, we might actually even do more of a back and forth debate later, but since it was a pay-per-view, it was a little bit more difficult.
Product.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good rest of your evening, and we will chat with you later.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Wrestling Zone podcast, a Majestic production. If you enjoyed this program, feel free to follow us on all social media platforms. Links in the description section of wherever you're watching this. We are on all channels. We will be doing this once at least a week, and we will let you know when we go live. Also, if you want to support us further and get great exclusive content, including watch parties, merchandise, signings, and any and all future shows, become a patron today at patreon.com/MajesticP. That again is patreon.com/MajesticP. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, or morning, and as always, be majestic.